Hello everybody and welcome to a new edition of Illumination. Today is Sunday, March 27th, and that means a happy Easter Sunday to everybody. Now with Easter Sunday coming and gone, that means the summer season is upon us. Definitely you've had your summer vacation plans locked in for months now, and you're probably thinking of getting a brand new camera to capture all these sweet summer memories. In the last Photography 101 video, I mentioned I'd be sharing a couple of camera shopping tips and tricks to get you the best bang for your buck. When talking about whether you got the right camera, there's really two considerations. First is the budget. Now, I can't really do anything about that since you probably already set that budget when you first started saving up for the camera. Second consideration is whether you're shopping smart. Today I'll be talking about a couple of things that'll get you in the right mindset to help you decide whether the camera you're thinking about buying is the right camera for you. And the big question that it all boils down to is, what is the purpose of buying this camera? Do you want to improve the quality of your photos, or do you want to start learning how to take professional quality photos? Then definitely you should go ahead and buy yourself a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. These cameras allow you the most amount of manual control over the exposure of the shot or how the camera takes that shot. They also offer the widest avenues in terms of improving your technical photographic ability. Or maybe you want something just for more general use, something easily pocketable. In that case, you can't go wrong with buying a point and shoot or actually springing for a smartphone with a more than decent camera. As they say, the best camera is the one that you have with you all the time, and these types of cameras definitely meet that criteria well enough. It also has to be mentioned, in the past couple of years, the quality gap between the point and shoot and a smartphone camera has greatly reduced, and in this day and age, you can take photos with great confidence with either one. If you're looking for something, however, that you can take with you swimming, diving, going on rapids, waterfalls, whatever it is, extreme activity you're up for, definitely you spring yourself for an action camera, something like a GoPro or a SONY Action Cam. These cameras are designed to withstand the rigors and are designed to withstand the forces that will be applied to them when going on these extreme activities. I would, however, suggest staying away from the knockoffs since they're neither built as well, nor do they take photos or videos as well as the originals. Don't confuse, however, an action camera for something that can take good sports photos. If you're expecting yourself to be on the sidelines of a sporting event over the summer, like your kids' basketball league or your kids' soccer league, definitely you want something that has reach, something that can zoom in without having to get actually closer, something that shoots quickly, something that focuses fast. In this case, you want to get yourself a mirrorless camera or a DSLR with a long lens. It also has to be said that if you find yourself in a situation where your movement is restricted or you find yourself farther from your subject than you intended, it would be best to be with a DSLR or a mirrorless camera with a long lens. Something like in the situation of a sporting event, a play, recital, or if, for example, you want to take photos of animals in nature, then definitely these types of cameras will be a better fit. It also has to be mentioned, though, that there are a certain breed of cameras called the bridge cameras. Effectively, they're large point and shoots with big lenses integrated into them. However, they still have the weaknesses of a point and shoot in that they're typically very slow in operation, not nearly as quick as a dedicated DSLR or mirrorless camera. So ask yourself, what is the purpose of this camera? And now we have to talk about megapixel count or your camera's resolution. Now, camera companies for a long time have been able to get away with implying that more megapixels results in better image quality. Now, that's only partially true. Generally speaking, more megapixels results in increased amount of detail in the final photo. However, though, as we touched on briefly in our previous video, more megapixels in a small sensor is like cramming lots of people, hundreds of people into a small train car. It's going to result in a lot of heat and a lot of aggravation, some things which you really don't want to contend with if at all possible. So yes, more megapixels are good, but only in a certain context. Like, for example, with DSLRs, since they have much bigger sensors than most other cameras on the consumer market, you can get away with something along the lines of 20-24 megapixels. There are even some cameras that go as high as 40 or 50 megapixels, but those are rare, more professional grade cameras. For point and shoots, though, since they have smaller sensors compared to DSLRs, you should only really expect 16 to 20 megapixels of resolution there. And for smartphones, since they have the smallest sensors of the bunch, you should only really expect 10 to 14 megapixels. Sony has always been a notable exception here, since their Xperia Z line has always been ahead of the curve in terms of camera resolution. Their Z3, Z4, and Z5 cameras, in fact, have had more than 20 megapixels of resolution, and the latest one, the Z5, in fact has a 24 megapixel shooter. So now you also have to realize that when making these purchases, you're not only buying the camera itself, you're buying yourself into a family of accessories and peripherals that only work with the type of camera that you bought and the specific brand. As you can imagine, there are quite a number of accessories that are on the market. Regardless of what kind of camera you're using or you're planning on buying, a tripod is always a solid choice for an accessory. Tripods help stabilize your camera when taking the photos, which will really help remove any sort of shake, resulting in sharper images which you can appreciate on a closer inspection. Now for DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, flashes are a great help in improving low light and nighttime photography. And the great thing, because these camera systems are modular, you can purchase additional lenses on an as-needed basis. If you find your current lens too short or not wide enough, then definitely you can buy a replacement lens to add to your collection. Batteries are never really a huge issue with SLRs and mirrorless cameras, since they're usually able to pack bigger batteries, though having a spare one is never bad. And SD cards, I would recommend getting at least 2. That way you have a backup anytime your current card fills up. Point and shoots, however, have fewer accessories that you can purchase to improve the quality of the photos that you take. Aside from the tripod recommended for purchase for any type of camera, really, there are some lenses which are really just lens conversion kits, since that camera lens is integrated into the camera itself. Support for external flashes aren't very common with point and shoots either. Only the more advanced point and shoots like the bridge cameras and the higher end point and shoot cameras really have support for external flash units. It is highly recommended, however, that you get a spare battery, since point and shoot cameras are notorious for having poor battery life. An extra SD card might not be something you need, but it's always nice to have, a spare just in case you fill up the card that you currently have. You can also opt for some waterproof pouches, which can help you take the camera into water, but only for very shallow depths. For your smartphone cameras, though, they have the least number of accessories that you can use to help improve the quality. You really are reliant on what the camera really built into the phone is capable of. Again, a tripod is never a bad thing to have, but in terms of lenses or improving the optical element of the camera, there are some clip-on lenses that you can purchase to help widen or make a fisheye type effect, or to make the camera have a higher optical zoom. That's one thing, though those are not really well optimized optically. Same with flashes, there's really nothing at the moment. There are a bunch of options available, like continuous lighting, LED bulbs that you can clip onto the camera, though they're bulky and they don't really make for great light. The batteries and SD cards or CF cards, whatever, are really highly dependent on whether the phone itself can have these components taken out. However, underwater pouches or waterproof pouches are an option that you can get similarly to your point and shoot cameras. You can take them into the water for very shallow depth. So when buying the cameras, to me, you only have 2 real main options. One is to purchase the camera online through something like Amazon or eBay or Craigslist. Or second, you can buy it at a local camera store. One advantage of buying it online would be that it's much cheaper, 15 or 20% cheaper than buying it in a local shop. However, if you have any sort of problems or you run into any sort of issues with your camera purchase, you'll have to do the troubleshooting or the return or whatever online or through the phone, which is not really ideal. With local camera shops, though, they are slightly a bit more expensive than buying online. However, in my experience, the price difference has always been worth it for getting that excellent after-sales service. For first-time camera buyers, I would definitely recommend you buy a kit. A kit typically consists of the camera itself and all the accessories that come with it in the box. Usually some additional stuff like an SD card. Sometimes it'll also include free batteries, free cleaning material, as well as a bag or a carrying pouch. And these kits save you a bunch of money, and definitely you don't really have to think twice. It's already been put together for you, and once you receive your shipment, it's all there. So what should be in your bag? Well, first of all, definitely the camera has to be there. If you're rocking a mirrorless or DSLR setup, then a lens or lenses, your SD cards, your batteries, your charger, since it's always handy to have it in your bag in case you run out of juice, and your cleaning stuff. It's very important to keep your lens and the camera body free from liquids or anything of that sort, especially salt water, since that stuff will corrode the coatings of the camera. Those are a few tips and tricks I have for purchasing your next camera. Now, always remember, before you make your purchase, review. A great place to do this would be on Amazon. Just type in the specific camera that you're looking at buying. Don't just base off of the rating of the camera. Read the individual reviews. I mean, it's tedious, but it always gives you great information of people who've used it firsthand. I've dodged a couple of bullets this way. Some equipment comes very highly well reviewed, but there's just that one little detail that's a deal breaker for the whole thing. Common issues also pop up on Amazon. Whether you're buying a camera or a smartphone or whatever it is that you want to buy, it's always great to read reviews. And definitely one place you can do that is Amazon.com. Once you're done reviewing the camera that you want and you're sure that this is the camera that really fits your needs, you want to go ahead and compare it to its competition. Sometimes we're so dead set on just getting this piece of equipment, saving up the money to buy it, we don't realize there's something better out there. And comparing it to its closest competition really shows you what you might be missing. Now, once you're done figuring all that out and you've still realized this is the camera for me, go ahead and purchase your camera and enjoy it. More importantly, it doesn't matter if it's the best camera in the world. If you keep it stuck in a box, it's not going to do much. So take it out in the world and spread your photographic wings. So that's it for today's edition of Illumination. I hope you liked today's video. We'll also be continuing with our Photography 101 series in the next week, probably Wednesday. We'll be talking about aperture and how that affects your photos. And as always, it really means a lot to me if you go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Also leave your comments. Let me know what you loved in this video, what you didn't like so much. What sort of video should I do next? Any topics that you want me to cover, or whether if there's something that you did not like, or should I stop doing these videos altogether? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to reply to you as soon as I can. And that's it. Happy Easter once again, and always remember, stay illuminated.